Oi oi fuckers, first mic'd up session in a while, and shock, it's my day 4 full body session. For some reason I only ever seem to record these days when I'm mic'd up, probably because the other days the compound lifts absolutely fucked me, but today's probably not easy, but way less taxing. So today I'm going to be talking to you about why I do the full body and why everybody hates it and why it's probably the most overlooked split going. So anyway, make sure you swipe because this is going to be one of them carousel posts. So yeah, fucking swipe. This is the split I'm doing today and this is why I'm doing it. Anyway, enough bullshit. Let me get to the first exercise. Well, that was extremely difficult. Doesn't help that I'm fasting today. Fucking great idea, Stefan. Okay, so first off, I'm going to go through why I do the full body session, and I'll explain why I structure mine the way I do. So, first off, what's one of the worst and most annoying things about going to the gym? It's feeling sore and feeling immobile. You're trying to increase your fitness, your overall health, your function and mobility, and you actually lift heavy. It's no good going to the gym and directly after not being able to walk properly because you've trained legs. Like, to me, this is retarded. Don't get me wrong, this is just how I'm feeling right now. I could change, but I've been doing this split now for about 18 months, so probably not. More like 2 years actually. So what I like to do is, instead of absolutely killing one muscle group, especially when you're in a deficit, why not just train all of them every day, doing 1 to 2 exercises per muscle group? It just seems more logical to me. And it comes in handy in any situation. So let's say you're on holiday and you don't want to absolutely kill your legs and get an injury because you've been drinking alcohol for your body. Let's say you're lifting heavy on the squat, bench and deadlift and you actually want to do them all in the same week without tearing your hamstring off your fucking leg. If you're doing only 1 to 2 exercises per day opposed to absolutely killing a body part, you're going to be able to get it in a lot easier, aren't you? Minimal discomfort. And when you're incorporating stuff like cardio, it's a lot easier because you don't have as bad DOMs as you normally have. Now to get onto the reasons why I do the full body split and specifically my version. So first off, it's because everybody hates on it and nobody does it. I'm just that kind of person that likes weird shit that not a lot of people are into. Full body split, anime, DBZ specifically, One Piece as well, heavy metal, and numerous other shit I can't fucking remember about at the minute. And obviously the list of reasons in the previous clip, but also because there's a stigma behind it. Kind of when I started gym, I wanted to have decent sized legs because I heard that everyone skipped leg day and I thought that was just fucking retarded. But it's also because of health and longevity. I've done almost every training split under the sun and eventually you get bored of them all. And this is the first one where I've never actually got bored of it. So that's why I've been doing it for 2 years plus and not complained about it at all. Anyway, this is how I structure it. So the way I structure it is like essentially a powerlifting SBD day. Squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, arms. Obviously not overhead press and arms, but you get what I'm saying. Now, there's a reason why in powerlifting they do structure it that way. It's because you give yourself enough time between the squat and the deadlift to actually recover, and obviously a little break in between with the bench, whatever. The formula just works perfectly to actually make some decent progress and without absolutely destroying yourself in the day, so you've still got a little bit of energy left. So another reason why it's a great split is because of what phase you're in. So whether you're cutting, bulking or reclamping, it works perfect with either because there's 3 aspects to training that you need to master to get a good split. So you need frequency, which is how often you train a muscle group per week. There's intensity, which is how heavy you train, and there's also volume, which is your reps and sets. So frequency is automatically covered because you're training everything every day. Every day you're training. Don't fucking train every day, you'll die. There's intensity, so this is perfect because you're not exhausting a muscle completely, smashing out one on a day. You're able to lift a lot heavier, which is basically what intensity is. And then volume is the only iffy one. People think because you're only doing 1 to 2 exercises per muscle group, but I know the volume stuff. No, not really. For example, let's say you're doing squats. You'll probably be able to get away with doing more sets of squats because you're only doing them that day maybe with the abductor and abductor, but that doesn't really take away from the squat strength. And then the opposing day, maybe the day after or a couple of days after, you can also smash hack squat or leg press. Probably do, about the same volume, and you're not going to be as fucked as you would be if you did them all on the same day, if you get what I'm saying. Now, just so people don't get it twisted, this doesn't mean if you're a client of mine, I'm just going to shove you on the full body split. No, coaching is separate to me. I'm just talking about what I do and why I think it's beneficial. You can do what you want. I base my client splits on their individual circumstances, not mine. Anyway, onto the fucking set. Hate these. It works even better for my clients that are specifically on the LSR program, the Lean Strength Recomp program. Take my client Dan, for example. Not only did we get him to lose all that weight and gain muscle mass, he also lifted the heaviest lifts he's ever lifted in his life. 200 kg deadlift, 240 kg deadlift, I believe it was. 160 squat, and bench was around 150, 160, I think. I probably got all that wrong. I'm going to put a screenshot here just to show you. Just to go in more depth onto one reason as well. When you're doing cardio, especially when you first start, I've experienced this many times when I have a week off the gym or a couple of weeks off, or you stop cardio for a bit. When you go back to running, there's a stigma that you can't do both at the same time. And I fucking believed it because I've experienced it. When you're going back, squatting and deadlifting heavy, and then running, doing cardio, whatever it is, you've never felt DOMS and pain on your leg like that before, legs. But splitting your training sessions of your legs across multiple different days, it reduces it massively. If I do a leg day now, I literally cannot run because I actually train hard, squat, lift heavy. Don't take any offence to that. If you do take offence, you probably train like a pussy, but that's for another video. Speaking of time off, I've recently had a deload week, 10 days, a bit more than a week. And it's perfect to go back into training because you're obviously going to be sore because you've had some time off. And most people do it for maybe a week or two and they change back to the previous split. But if you keep it up, I promise you, you will notice the gains. First thing I change with a client is increase their frequency because for some reason, everyone always does the bro split, which isn't a bad split, but when you're lacking frequency, going to full body is going to eliminate that problem completely. Results may vary. If you follow my stories on my Instagram, for any amount of time recently, you would have been hearing me complain for about 14 days straight about my legs hurting. But that is because I'm training the heaviest I've trained on my compounds in like 2 years. If you're an ex-fat guy or a big guy, pretty strong and you've lost weight, you relate to me on this, that you just don't feel as confident. You think the same weight's going to give you an injury or snap you in half, but it's not. It's all a mindset thing. Your muscles moving the weight, not the fat. But yeah, after that first squat session, the only gym I thought I was going to be going to in the next week was the Vermilion City gym to beat Lieutenant Surge on Leaf Green and Fire Red. Who else has caught that, by the way? That was literally my first Pokemon game ever. Pure nostalgia. My team at the minute is Pikachu, Charmeleon, not evolved yet, Golbat, Holden, Everstone, doesn't evolve until you get the National Dex, 2 Kadabras, and Nidoking. Going to catch a Ghastly and evolve that into Gengar. So if anyone's got the fucking games and needs to trade, hit me up. And finally, I am a big component in not just doing free weights machines or bodyweight exercises. I think you should combine all of the above. Not a great machine to be sitting on to be explaining this, but oh well. One thing I've really enjoyed with my training at the minute is I started off training 3 days a week and it eventually progresses up to 5 or 6. But for a while, because of the intensity and I was actually starting to lift respectable weights, respectable for myself anyway, I trained 4 times a week for years and I thought 5 times would be too much. But I now have 1 day per week dedicated to solely calisthenics. So not only is this good because I'm hitting different muscle profiles using different variations of hitting hypertrophy, progressive overload, yada yada yada, etc. But also, because I'm only doing body weight that one day, it kind of feels like a little bit of a rest. It's way less impactful on the joints and you actually feel decent after it. And you also don't have to go to the gym to do it. I actually mentioned this in a video I've not released yet. The reason I do the LSR program, Lean Strength, is because obviously I want to get lean, but I want to be strong in all aspects, not just on the SBD, squat, bench, deadlift, but also your own body weight. It's just human survival. You want to be able to pick something up, squat down with something, you know, if you've got a heavy shit, push something across your chest. But also you want to be able to pull yourself up, to lift yourself up with dips, to press yourself up from the floor. I think it's just important, especially as a guy, to be strong in all aspects, not just one. It's less harmful on the joints. Just realised I've got no weight on here. So if you were wondering, I have timed this session exactly what order I do these exercises in. The reason I'm doing this last is because after I did the 2 shoulder machines, I wanted to give them a little bit of a break before I started pressing, because very, very sore. Holidays in Mexico, lots of alcohol, and having a week off the gym and immediately going back to strength training is not a great combination. Music's gone off, gonna lower my voice. Joke, fuck that. When I do the full body split, I normally base each workout around a main compound lift. So these are the top 3 sets of my lifts from my squat, bench and deadlift. Squat is based around abductor and abductor first to warm up the muscles, and then I do obviously the other accessory movements. The day after that I do bench, which is before I do cable face pulls and side lateral raises to warm up the shoulder joints in the middle, before, you know, taking away from any pressing strength. And then deadlifts is normally done on before leg extension and leg curl. Now this doesn't really have any correlation for the deadlifts, but one way how I train is I actually pre-exhaust. So normally people would do the compound lifts right at the start of the movement, you know, the workout, because it's the hardest movement, but I actually like to do them at the end. So I'm doing all the other exercises before and ending on the compound movement, mainly because of energy expenditure, obviously, and also it just helps a lot because normally after I do the main compound, which I'm training very intensely at the minute, it normally takes a lot of my strength and I don't put as much effort into the other exercises. But here I get to essentially get all the fluffy bits, I call them, the R's and pointers in between, and then I will add on the compound at the end of the session. It's working well for me at the minute. Give it a try if you want. Make sure you subscribe.